Hi, Ira.
How you doing?
Okay. So you have a good background there.
Yeah, it's not real, it's
Oh, really?
okay, so let me just check out no, that's not what I want. Hello, Hannah, how are you?
Manchmal. I'm practicing my English.
Are you practicing your English? Good, good. I'm just, I have a PowerPoint presentation here, and I'm just making sure that it's in the right place here. Okay, do you see? Oh, you don't see it yet, right?
That's a good picture.
We do.
Oh, you do see it?
Yeah, I see it. I see it. Hello, Hannah.
But it's not doing the right thing, was it not?
It's funny.
Okay, this I think I'm working. Okay, now it's working. I see that it's working. And last night we did a session. We did a session for those members of the family who have difficulty with English. So last night we did it in Hebrew,
Oh,
and
very
it
nice.
went for two two rounds. We had to reconnect. We had to reconnect. So I'll tell we'll mention again that if after 40 minutes we don't finish, just reconnect to the same link again. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we've gotten used to doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how's everybody doing? How's the COVID in Canada, in America?
We are in complete lockdown.
Yeah, and any chance of getting a vaccine?
He's frozen. Yeah.
One sec. You have to be in the same link. You have to cut it over here. Okay, our granddaughter Ori is here. She, if you don't see her, she is Hannah's daughter, and she ran away from home because her baby brother is in isolation, and she didn't want to be there. She didn't want to be isolated too, so she's come to stay with us for a while until it blows over.
And it's wonderful.
Because she was already isolated the week before, and she had enough.
She was isolated the week before. So
We have that going on at Daniel and Shira's.
There's a lot of people on here.
It first started with one of the kids, and then Daniel got it, and now another one of the kids has it, and they're trying to isolate within the house.
so anybody, most
ready?
of the people,
Early.
most of us
So,
above 60,
Walk out.
above 60 or 60 plus, we have
say
got our first shot.
what says mute?
I'm going for my second shot tomorrow.
You have to come into the
Hi.
Yeah, Mike's going tomorrow.
When I walk out,
Tuesday.
I
Yeah.
When I walk out of the room, I want you to do start. video.
Okay.
Okay. So you can do that now.
Tell me, okay.
We're waiting till it's 7 o'clock. We'll wait another minute until, hi,
Shalom.
hi Chuck, how you doing?
I'm
Good. How are you, everybody? Good to see you all.
Good to see you. I'm glad you're here.
Hey.
I'm glad-
Hello.
So,
And Mazal Tov, Lisa. Yeah.
Mazal
Thank
tov,
you.
Lisa had a granddaughter this morning in the ambulance. The baby was born in the ambulance.
It just came so fast, or is that what happened?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Here's Aunt Florence. Florence, welcome to the-
Hello, Aunt Florence. It's Ira.
That's Ira.
Wow, there's Aunt Florence.
Ira?
Yes.
Oh, that's Haskell.
Florida.
Oh, isn't that amazing? Hi,
Yeah, hi.
amazing. Hi, bro.
I see that. I see Lynn is with us. No, we don't see a picture. So,
Face, get the cameras on.
All the way from Winnipeg.
That's it.
okay, so, hi, Zip. Hi, now I see
That's
Lynn.
it there.
Hi.
Zeb's
So
on.
I'm
Hey, Zeb.
really happy.
Hi, Sammy wants to say hi.
Aye, aye.
Oh, wow.
Okay, and we're,
Is that Ira?
Yeah.
that's Ira, yep.
Oh, I didn't recognize you.
We recognize
Well,
you.
you can, yeah, you,
And who's that?
we're not, you know, we won't, you won't catch anything
Come here
from
and just
us.
say hi.
I say you won't catch anything from us.
Just say hi and then.
I don't know, are you allowed to take your mask off?
In-
Just for a minute.
Yankee wants to say hi.
I didn't put mine on, I didn't
I'll
know.
move away and take it.
So,
You
okay,
got so big since you saw him, Ira.
so
My goodness.
I'm really happy
Hi, Flo. Hi,
about this a
Peter.
little while.
Hey,
Hey, Zeb.
Actually, we thought about this 10 years ago to do something
I'm
for,
not sure who that is.
Zebby.
Okay.
thought about doing this 10 years ago. And I have some emails attesting that 10 years ago for our Zeta's 20th anniversary. And now it's his 30th. And now we finally got to do it this way in Zoom. We thought we would do it. And it's very nice that we got people from all over, you know, to watch, to participate. And I prepared, I'm a little bit hoarse. I'm drinking my tea here while talking to you. I prepared presentation, a little bit of presentation, a little bit of a story of his life and pictures of the family members with him. I didn't get everybody. I apologize that not everybody is in the picture, but maybe we'll embellish it. And I'll start with saying if anything brings up memories or whatever here, please, you know,
Unmute yourself.
yeah, just unleash. Get in and say what you have to, what you want to say about it. Okay, so I'm gonna tell a story about a little about. Start with the city of his birth, and because it's a very special place. I visited there almost shortly after he passed away with my father and with Aunt Rita. We visited there, and as you'll see some of the pictures that I took when we were there. Of course, there's very little left of nothing that we could associate with the family, but I'll start with that and talk about things that, you know, that I say, if you have anything to say, please just break in. Okay. So I'm now going to start with Sorry. Here we go. With his hometown of Zamosh. Okay, I'm going to show you some pictures. Zamosh was we'll start with the family. Many of you know this picture. Rita made it into a silk screen print, and this is the great-grandparents, our great-grandparents, the people that you know here in the middle, in the second row, are Sheva and Moshe Garfinkel with their daughter Rachel. Okay. On the edges, on the sides, is our grandfather's brother Avram, and on the other side is who died in the Holocaust, and his sister, who I'm pretty sure her name was Chana, but she died at a young age. She had cancer, and this picture I think was about 1927. Okay. So now I found, and his birth record in its town of Zamosh. This is something that's put on Jewish Gen. And
Ira, are you recording this?
Yes, it's being recorded. Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, and as you can see, there's Fecher, Moshe Fecher, and Usheva, and they were both registered in the same year, 1900. Now, why were they registered together? They weren't twins, and it was something that he told us. He always told us that in order to save money, they had to pay a fee for registering children. So, in order to save money, they would have a few children before, and they registered them all at the same time. And sure enough, it appears in the records that survived since then. Okay, this is our great grandmother, Chaya Esther, at the tomb at the tombstone of her husband, and it's 1937. He passed away in 1936. This is 1937. Okay, now I'll tell you. And here is his brother and his brother's family. His name was Avram. His wife's name was Sarah Lemmer. And she, the reason they all died in the Holocaust. In a minute, I'll show you a map of the country of Poland and show you what happened. And so you know that I have a family tree on Jenny, and the family tree, I discovered these people, and I found in England Sarah Lemmer's niece, and she was like amazed. How did I find her? Her father survived. They were in business, and he was in the United States, and he got stuck in England. He couldn't get back to Poland, and the rest of his family was all murdered. And this is their two children, the wife with the two children. Okay, next, and this is the picture that I got from her niece from England sent me the same picture. So it's very interesting. Now here's a map of Poland. And Zamosh doesn't appear in the map. Zamosh was a city of about 25,000 people. And it was right near Lublin. If you see in the middle of Poland, you see Lublin. It was right near Lublin. And that was when the war broke out in 1939, Poland was grabbed partially by the Soviet Union and partially by the Germans, who it was an agreement between them. And the people from Zamosh crossed over or escaped from the Germans to Lvov, because that was under Russian occupation. It wasn't a good place either way. And eventually the Germans came there, and that was their end. But Sheva and Moshe Garfinkel, they escaped someplace deep into Siberia, deep into Russia, and they were saved. So just okay. Now this is a letter that they sent. The family sent from Lvov, partially in Hebrew, written by Bernie Garfinkel here, the Hebrew part, in Yiddish by Sheva, and in Polish by Rochel. And at the very bottom, our grandfather's mother signed her name, and you can see it says Esther Chaya Fecher. And all these, I have a number of letters and documents which I scanned and gave to Yad Vashem for their archives. Next. Okay. And this is a monument in Zamość that was the cemetery, the Jewish cemetery was destroyed after the war intentionally. And afterwards, the Jews who remained, the few Jews, they organized it, and they organized putting together. They took, the pieces of the broken tombstones, and they made a monument in memory of the Jews. And at the very top, it's like, you don't see it here, but it's like 2 tablets, and it says, "Lo tirtzach," thou shalt not murder. Okay, this is a picture of the same thing. Okay, and this is Zamość. This is the main square in Zamość. Zamość was built by a Polish nobleman in the end of the 16th century, who he studied in Italy, and he was very impressed by what happened in Italy, and he wanted to build a Renaissance town in Poland, and he built this city. He built this city, and he invited people from different nationalities to settle in his city, including Jews. He gave them had an agreement with them that they wouldn't let any other Jews in because they didn't want any. They were
housing or offices?
They didn't want any competition, so they didn't want any other Jews to live there. They came mostly from Italy. They were expelled from Spain in 1492. They came from Italy, and they settled there, Italy and from Amsterdam. And they settled there. So the first Jews in Zamość were Sephardim. Okay, and we'll see. This is the municipality, the city hall. Now, Zeta had a story about how did he get married? Okay, and this has to do with this place. The story goes that one day his mother took him for a walk, and she told him, "Listen," they said, "I promised." His mother was a cousin of our great grandfather, some of you grandfather, Yecheskel Mandelbaum, right? Chuck and Lynn's grandfather was Yecheskel Mandelbaum. He was a cousin of our great grandmother, and she told her son, "Listen, I promised my Yecheskel Mandelbaum that my son would marry one of his daughters, and now it's up to you. Here's a ring. Go give it to her. The engagement ring. Go give it to her." So he said, "Well, what if she doesn't agree?" She said, his mother told him, "Don't worry, she'll agree." And sure enough, she agreed. Okay, so that's this place, and that's what it looks like today. This is not a picture that I took. I took it from the internet because I didn't have an aerial photo, but that's what it looks like, and it's it's a very beautiful place. So this is their picture. Their picture that they took after the engagement, and it was a postcard, which many years ago I sort of blew it up, and the postcard, so you can see the postcard, and he sent her a picture. That was after their engagement. So shortly after they got married, I think she went to her father was in America already on his own. She went to America, and he followed her. Oh, still, this is the synagogue in Zamość, which became a public library. When we were there, it was a public library. It's been returned to the Jewish community of Poland, and now it's this is the outside the outside of the building, and now it's not a shul, but it's kind of a Jewish museum.
Ira, what year did they come to America?
I think that our Yechezkel Mendelbaum came about 1920.
Ira?
Yeah, he came about 1920, and he was there for a few years on his own. And then she came, it must have been 1923 or beginning of 24, something like that.
I think. it
Yeah,
was
because
24,
they were married in September 23, and my mother was born in June of 24. So they came in between that time.
Okay, but they didn't come together. They came a few months apart, right?
Right.
So, this is the interior of the synagogue that was built about 1600, something like that. Okay. Okay, this is a letter that that I found in here that he received from the head of the yeshiva in Zamość, asking him to collect, to get people together to collect money for the yeshiva. And it's very interesting because there's a lot of background here. And he talks about, how bad it is for the Jews. So if anybody tells you that the Poles were being occupied and that's why the Jews had such a bad time, it's not true, because they were very nasty to the Jews even before the Germans were there. Just, this is another letter of the same kind of thing right here. Okay. Now they came to Newark. And here's a picture of the early, Judy sent me this picture. And this is, some of the people don't look like they look like today, or they look like later. This is our grandparents here in the background, and this is the Yechezkel Mendelbaum, though he shaved off his beard at a certain point. Okay, so he looked a little bit different later on. And then here it is, maybe a year later, right? And the baby is Pearl. The baby here is Pearl, and this baby is Pearl.
Wow.
Ira, can you
Yes.
hear me?
Hang on. Is it on this?
Okay. Now I guess this is one of the first pictures.
Ira,
There's a record somewhere that from the ship.
Somebody say something.
It says when she lands.
You okay? Everybody okay?
Somebody want to say something?
There's a record from the ship when they came over, and Pearl, Hannah was pregnant with Pearl on the ship.
Yeah.
And on this record, it says that she has a tumor. That's what it says.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was on one of those.
I don't know. I never heard that,
And she lived another 50 years.
Okay, I've never heard that. So, does everybody know the people in the picture here?
But who was reading for the record?
We'll start from the back row, Uncle Morris, Jean, Irving, down the next right to left. It's Esther, I think. Esther, our Zeta, our Baba, the Zeta Chaskel, and Baba Shifra, and Shirley, who looked, like Shirley. It says that's the babies are Paul and my mother. Okay. A few years later, the family is
Pearl on the end.
Pearl, Jean,
In the middle.
Ivy, Shirley, Morris, Esther, Irving, Sarah, Cheskel, Shifra.
Mother looks amazing.
Zeta.
Lovely.
That's Rita, right? It's
Yeah.
my grandmother. Pearl, that's Florence there in the bottom. She's not very happy, seems to be, not smiling. I know how hard it is to get kids to smile, and here's my mother.
I'd love to have a picture of that.
Yeah. Okay, and this is a picture of when Shave and Morris arrived in America in 1950. This is a picture of receiving them at the boat. I don't know who this is. Is this Rita over here in the very far right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
It looks like Rita. There's the Baba Chifra and Sheva and our grandmother and Moshe Garfinkel and Zeta. Okay, this is a picture in the slaughterhouse.
During the war.
What's that?
The Garfinkels, you didn't mention where they were during the war.
The Garfinkels, so they escaped, and they escaped to Russia. They escaped to someplace in like Siberia or something like that. But they left Lvov. And it's a story I would really like to know, but I guess we didn't ask them in time about what happened, or we don't know anything about it. I know they were very active in building Israel. You see here, this is a clipping from the newspaper about them raising money for Israel bonds. They had a lot of stuff for JNF, a lot of tree planting, and and I said, well, maybe we must have been in one of their forests that they planted, right? Yeah. Okay, next one. Now the family, and this is where everybody can get in here. Okay, this is a picture that I took in the sukkah. It must have been 1969 when they still lived on Kira Avenue. And I think that he's probably just about in this picture, he's about my age. Right, something like that. Okay, so and here's a picture. And he's in this picture, just happened to have it, it's with Zalman. Zalman, I don't know where they were, but they were somewhere together. And the older generation, we remember Zalman. Zalman used to come to visit, and he was a funny guy. And he always used to get a big kick out of him. I don't know, I see Morris and men here. And I don't know who these other people are, but does anybody know?
We didn't see it. Oh, there we are.
Okay, we don't know them. We don't know the people. The other people. We don't know who they are. Okay.
Looks like
This is one of his visits to Israel. And this is after our grandmother passed away. I think this must have been in the cemetery when they put up there, when they had the unveiling, whatever.
On the left.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And here they are at the, I don't know, who is it in the back there? Who is this?
Lisa?
I don't think it's Lisa. I don't know. I don't know who is in the back.
Hey, it's me and and our mother.
Yeah, this is our mother.
I think it's me.
That's
Yeah, you, yes, yeah, that's you. So, yeah.
Who's the girl?
But who's in the back? Who was in the back? Go back a picture.
Yeah.
Who's that girl? Back with them.
Doesn't look like my sister.
I don't know who that is in the back.
Wait, is it possible that's Ruth Mandelbaum?
No, she looks young. I don't know.
That's a young person.
I don't know.
Not Lisa.
That's not Lisa. I don't know. Anyway, this was for him after she passed away. It was like he wanted to go very well. He went off and he went to for her Yartzeit and et cetera, and we accompanied him. Okay, and here now I'm showing you pictures of the family. So these are some pictures that David gave me. This is David and Pearl, Milton and Pearl, Milton and David. He's about how old? A year
I
old?
don't know those people.
Milton and David. Milton and David.
It's on Seymour Avenue, if you remember.
That's Milton? Oh, my goodness. That wouldn't be Pearl, though.
It is Pearl. It's Pearl. This is
Yeah.
Pearl.
And
Yes. Pearl in the middle.
in that picture.
And here's some more pictures. This one was a little bit scribbled on. I tried to clear it up a little bit, but it didn't help me very much. And I don't know. This is someplace in Europe. I don't know where they were, but they were really very good with the grandchildren. That was like, you know. Okay. And here's a picture. This is me. I've shown this picture before. This is me. And here's Lynn in the corner over here, I think. And if you see this picture that he's holding my hand, and that really like moved me very much that he was holding my hand. You know, I was a few months old, holding my hand. And I think that's what he did with all the grandchildren. We'll see. We'll see it coming up in the next pictures here. Here's Arbor, Lisa, and Arnold. This is a picture in their house in Keary Avenue with Rita's mural in the background.
Cool. Oh, my mother painted that mural on the wall.
And the mural is a picture of Rabbi Moshe, neighborhood in
No,
Jerusalem.
there's a story behind that mural that my mother told about. I think we wanted to borrow money to go to get her art degree or to go to college or something. And our grandfather said, "Can you paint me a
I never heard that.
a Picasso?" And she said, "I am the Picasso." But this painting was part of what she wanted to do. I think it was part of that whole thing, but she always told me that story.
So that it's a view from Jerusalem. It's very interesting. That was done before 1967, before the 6-Day War, and this place was just right on the border. And there all the time they were shooting there, you know, over the years, and it was you know, it's interesting. Like, let's say in the background over here, you see one of the churches. That church is in the old city. That church was, you know, not.
You can see the wall.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So you see a little bit of the wall here, maybe. That was under Jordanian control at the time.
Where is it? Oh, it's there?
That's Chamat Ha'ir Ha'atika.
Yeah, it's Yamin Moshe, right? And here, the picture of we went to visit the Becklers. 1970, before they went off to.
In the middle?
Before they went to.
Tracy?
Before they went to Australia.
Dad on the
Okay. It was snowing, if you can see, it was snowing.
You.
Yeah.
And then me.
So, okay, so we'll move on to the next picture. There's some pictures that I got from David and Judy. This is a picture, I guess these two pictures are from David's wedding, David and Gila's wedding.
My mother and father.
David's grandmother.
The other grandmother.
David.
Yeah. We remember her well.
A nice picture of my
And I
mother.
think this must be from Judy's wedding, okay? This is a picture from Judy's wedding. Now, we never dressed like that. And I have to tell you, one of the things I have to tell you that our grandmother, she was the aesthetic one in the family. She always, you know, everything had to be just so by her. And he, you know, he didn't, whatever he did, he didn't bother him at all. However, you know, she dressed him, and she told him, you know what, she got close. He didn't, it wasn't really, it wasn't his thing. It wasn't most important thing for him.
Ira, wait. The meeting is technically ending in 5 minutes. You have to extend it. You have to extend the time. length
Okay,
of
yeah,
the video.
what we're gonna do is
Otherwise we'll get cut off.
when the time runs out, we will reconnect, okay?
Okay.
Reconnect to the same link, okay?
תראה, אני לא שמתי לב אתמול כשראיתי אותו, הפרעות האלה.
More pictures of him interacting with the family. Lisa's children when they were small, and he has a kind of like a very understanding smile on his face. And the kids running around like they were running around there. And here he is, it's Tuvia, at least it's Tuvia.
Yeah, it's the.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tuvia holding his hand when he went on the slide. You know, that was his thing. That was how he did it. Here, reading with the kids. This is stuff that I mean, if you ask me, I'm not as good a grandfather as he was. Believe me. So, and I mentioned yesterday that he used to, when they had parent-teachers meeting in our school, he would go with our mother to speak to our teachers. Okay, here's some more with our children. With our children. Always feeding, always feeding. And that's when we were big too. Our sukkah. That wasn't his sukkah. You saw his sukkah, now you see our sukkah. Pearl and Irv. In our house on Purim. In Gilo, when we lived in Gilo, yes. Yeah, we've since expanded. And here's some pictures of, is this Avi?
Yes, it looks like Abby.
Who is this in the?
This looks like Abby.
No.
This is Avi. This is Avi, the one down over here.
Yeah.
Avi Greenfield.
This one is Zeb. Gotta be Zeb.
The Afro guy.
Is it
Yeah,
Zeb?
it might be me too, but I don't remember having.
It's Zeb's face. I look at his face all the time. He doesn't know his own face.
I'm sure, I don't know, I just don't remember having the beard.
Okay.
That's when he had hair.
That's a hair.
Okay.
That's definitely not me.
Oh, that's our house. Yeah. That's our house in Brooklyn, this picture. Yeah.
Danielle and
Definitely wasn't me.
House in Brooklyn is me.
Avital, Hannah, and this is a neighbor's kid.
And Josh.
Josh, okay.
Josh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, by the way, none
Yeah,
of those
there.
pictures were me.
No,
Yeah.
it was me for sure.
Okay, I didn't know. It doesn't fit in color-wise.
Yeah, it was on it when we came to visit in 1986. Yeah.
Okay, so, okay. And this is Arnold Leo's twins, and this is Elisheva, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Elisheva.
Yeah, okay. This, I think it was, this is at the Brit of
Hananel Moshe.
Hananel Moshe.
And Moshe is named for Morris Mandelbaum, who passed away the year before.
Uncle Morris.
Uncle Morris Mandelbaum, passed away before. And when I asked Zeta if he didn't mind that I named our son with the name Moshe, he said, it's okay, he was named for a different Moshe. Meaning Morris Mandelbaum was named for a different Moshe. So it's okay.
Well, that's actually very funny because when I was having my sons, I wanted to name them Moshe, and my father was after I was Zeta, and my father said, "Over my dead body."
Okay. Here's some more Judy's and David's sons. And who's the baby?
That's Daniel. Daniel and Zeta came to the United States. It was 1983. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a year after he made Aliyah. He came for a visit. Yeah.
Right, he came
from
for our engagement party in the spring of '83.
So that's when it was. Daniel was a few months old. Yeah.
Okay. Here's in the Beis Simcha, when he was in the Beis Simcha, he went every day, went down to help the people in the this disabled people. He would feed them every day. That was his thing. Okay. At least his bat mitzvah.
Yeah, Elisa.